I think it's a video game. It's great for that kind of stuff too. Yeah, but I'm like a newbie in in war game type games. But it sounds great. I would like to learn more on this to play this game. I'm not as good as you,
Well, yeah. It,
maybe.
there weren't a lot of art. I played a lot of RTS over the last 10
Yeah,
years.
yeah, I know.
It's the
I'm
genre that
sure
I
you
played
do.
the most. As you can see at my nickname, obviously started a lot with StarCraft,
Yeah.
and
And are you playing only this kind of games or other type of games
I'm
too?
mostly into strategy games lately.
Okay.
Or like all kind of historical games. Like I play a lot of Hell Let Loose with friends, and
Yeah.
then with like my like bigger friend group, we play a lot of casual games like uh, Fall Guys or stuff like that. But usually
Ah, yeah.
always I'm more of a multiplayer kind of guy.
Yeah. Like party game
I
or it's player
like
friendly.
the uh, video games aspect of increasing the range at which you can interact socially with other people.
Hmm.
Or yeah, like the sports aspect, obviously, like esports always has
Yeah.
been fascinated by that. That's why we run the tournaments on SDL. That's how I came up with it. Seeing StarCraft tournaments, being fascinated by all that esports stuff, thinking why can't we have a little bit of that in the Eugen games as well?
Yeah. In terms of competition games, I like Super Smash Bros. Too, with playing a lot with friends. But only playing Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart or some kind of this kind of multiplayer games. But,
Nintendo multiplayer
not
games.
very difficult to play.
I mean, Mario Kart is there is some mastering in there.
Easy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
learn how to
Remember
master.
the
Yeah,
amount of
Mario Kart
time
definitely is.
yeah.
the amount of time that some of my friends invested into Mario Kart on the Nintendo DS and on the Wii back in
Yeah,
the day.
indeed.
That was, and then playing against him and just getting absolutely smashed.
Yeah, in Mario Kart DS, when you don't know how to snake, you don't know how to just use this game. That's something really
Shortcuts.
special
This
they
kind of
did
stuff.
with Mario Kart DS. And you said also recently, Matt, that you played like God of War Ragnarok and
Yeah.
The Last of Us also. I remembered you talked about that.
Uh, not yet. The Last of Us, not yet. I played first one.
Okay, first one.
Yeah, the first one when it came out. But the second one I never played. Never played it. So I will
Did you
do
saw the
when I
show?
will. Sorry, excuse me.
Did you saw the TV show? I don't
Yeah,
know
but
how good it is.
no spoiler, please. I didn't saw the recent episodes. So, but it's kind of good. Yeah, it's a kind of a good show.
So, Gria, the question, I'm reading it. So, Gria is talking about the arteries and bomb bugs, uh, which were in if everything goes right, which they have been corrected with the patch that happened this morning. So you won't see that again if everything is right. Um, yeah, the height of the IRAS was a huge technical issue, a huge technical challenge that our dev team needed to to understand and take decision around. And this was a very long and thoughtful path to travel, but eventually we made it. And I think, in my humble opinion, that if Twin City plays this well, it is a lot because of that kind of stuff we did there, which are gameplay's improvement with what we did with high-rise buildings. So Nalid said there are zombies in The Last of Us. In case you don't know, Matt,
Yeah.
that's a spoil.
He marked it with a spoiler alert, though. Yeah.
I heard about it. Some kind of mushroom zombie.
Yeah. The Last of Us. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the zombie games I played the most, for sure, was Daisy. Like, the standalone
Oh, yeah,
game.
Daisy.
That game, I invested way too much time in. Like, just running around, doing stupid stuff. It's such a simple game in its base mechanics, but somehow it still creates so much tenseness. It's like when you're with your group and you get that good equipment on the airfield. Like that, those are the kind of multiplayer things that I like. Like that's why I also play Hell Let Loose. And like I loved all the battle royales when they first came out, like PUBG and so on. I played that quite a bit as well. That was the game that I played the most in PC cafes over when I lived in Hong Kong. Like we went to PC cafes with my friends over there and just played lovely games. Yeah, shall we follow our opponents into their game? With Phoenix and Fantix being their opponents now of Booth and Tokon. And watch that game. Whilst we talk about the next next map, which and the works on that one, which is by now really my favorite map. The more I play it, the more I love it. With Black Forest.
Oh, delighted to hear that too. Thank you. I'm just answering to Timon Plays, which was the map who took the longest time to develop. It's by far Twin Cities. We had a huge amount of technical issues on Twin Cities. For instance, having two different heights of water seems like just a natural thing, but when we speak about video games, nothing is natural. Everything is complicated. So that kind of thing really, yeah, it really slowed us during the conception and the design of Twin Cities. But eventually we made it, and it is how it is right now.
The question that I would have, what is the difference? Why are maps in WARNO so much smaller when it comes to disk space that they require compared to Skill Division 2? How did you make that work?
Matt, I'm going to answer. Is that okay for you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is much more about a dev question, which we are not. Matt is an environmental artist, and I'm a level designer and level builder. Matt is a level builder too. So it is much more of a dev question. So I am not sure to exactly answer it correctly, but our dev team did a lot of work on the disk space. This is something they really care about. And maps is something that take a huge amount of disk space, in fact. So they managed to, first of all, divide any core file of the maps in 3 different files, which both made lighter files as a total and made the adjustment that we must do on maps much more easier and much more faster. So this is how did we do? Our dev team just fought it a lot, and they tried to keep it as low as possible every time we do any implementation in WARNO.
Okay, because yeah, it's really interesting how WARNO space is just a lot smaller disk space usage so far, and it also is somewhat keeping me optimistic that we can get quite a couple more maps without having the game too big on our disks, which is a lovely prospect for sure.
That's something we would love to. Of course, we're going to give you new maps. That's something I can say this night. So yeah, you can expect new maps on WARNOs. not right now because they are in work in progress, but you can expect new maps in WARNO for the future of WARNO,
Yeah,
of course.
the game is starting now, so yeah, I will jump into the spectator.
So do I. So yeah, hello Damned. I know I'm handsome, and Matt knows that he's handsome too.
But
We are
it's
both bold.
Who is
That's
who
why.
is Eugen?
I'm pretty sure that's a prerequisite if you're working on Eugen at Eugen.
Of course it is. To be a bearded man and to be bold. That's the two things.
And being handsome in general. So yeah, the map with the lovely new sawmill, the map that went from being one of the least played in custom games to being one of the most played in custom games. There are a couple fans who miss the old Black Forest, but I'm pretty sure 90% of the communities are quite happy with, or more than 90% of the communities are really happy with what you did here. Yes.
So are we. Honestly, it is quite a pride what we did with Black Forest.
The new lighting.
Especially considering it just needed like a few wood piles, and here we go.
Get the couple new assets, couple trucks going around, and yeah, some woodcutters doing their job here. And a new zone layout that is also pretty solid in my eyes. There are going a couple of arguments around of it. Maybe 1+2 zone in the middle, maybe not. But I believe that's smaller details compared to the improvement that was made here. As we have.
What do you think about the new version of Black Forest compared to the old one?
I mean, the old one was for sure my least liked map in the map pool. It was just a map that was so static, like because the zone layout was a bit mediocre, and the big hill was obviously known, had the lovely nickname of Broccoli, as it was just really hard to shoot through, and everybody disliked it. Like everybody disliked Broccoli when they were young. But now I would say it's, as I said, it jumped from my least favorite map to for sure being in my top 3. I'm not quite sure if it's the top spot at the moment. I will have to play it more, and hopefully now with the patch, having it in ranked, I will be able to do it. Yeah, so really looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to what Booth and Token will do this time. If they will air spam once more, or what their strategy will be on this map.
Good luck, guys.
And yeah, which of these combinations do you like more? Do you like the German wombo combo of 5th Panzer and 2nd Panzer Grenadier, or 5th Panzer and 82nd?
Honestly, if you asked me this like 30 minutes ago, I was gonna think the German combo, but they did like such a good job with the air superiority they won that I'm confident that the American side of it would be a great tool in this war. So I'm going for the air warfare side.
Yeah. The StarCraft rejects on the left side, and then the Cope Masters on the right side. Yes, yeah, Fantix and Phoenix, high-level players. They both have reached the final of the 2 top-level tournaments so far in WARNO. Phoenix was in the tournament of WARNO's League Season 0. Fantix was in the finals of the WARNO League Super Tournament, but they both lost. So they always are underplaying their strength a bit. Especially Fantix is known in the community for doing that, and for taking showers mid-tournament. Those are his 2 features that he is known and a bit ridiculed for. Especially the showering part is quite hilarious. Though he is a quick shower. And in the best of 5, taking a 5-minute break is fine, and you can use it for whatever you want, and his take is to take a shower, which is not quite what most people would go for, I guess, in those tense situations. And here on the left side, Token and so on coming in with the Leo 2A3s and Martyrs. And yeah, in general, I really like that more hills now have these roads to traverse to. That you can move vehicles through the forest, but it is still a risk. Like, infantry still rules around Bravo, but vehicles are allowed to get into there, which is an interesting dynamic. As usually, obviously around Charlie, it's the other way around. Vehicles being the stronger aspect and infantry being the supportive role.
Yeah, Black Forest was to be an ambush map, you know. When you go with any units, even the toughest tank inside a forest as dense as it is on Black Forest, you have to care about ambushes, and that was something we really wanted to make part of the map, you know. So yeah, it is the infantry place, and tanks have to play around it.
Also, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it also has the new house models, right? Like, you rework that part of the map, which just look quite a bit more natural than what we had before. Like, just the farm buildings. You still have the mixed in parts of it, which I must say also is a good step up in the looks here, with that supermarket in the middle.
It's part of the big improvements we bring to the factor of the maps.
Also, the church has a better line of sight, right?
Indeed.
It is more visible.
Which was the first building in WARNO to have that, right? Before the high rises.
Yeah, I think so. The church, the cathedral, and of course the Iowa's buildings have whole what we have shown in Normandy in 44 when it was Normandy 24, which was the last Eugen games. So yeah, that's something we wanted to push into WARNO. Well, the last issue with ITGM through building patched. This is something that I have shared internally and is taken care of. I cannot say more right now. I don't exactly know if it has been fixed as you might think of it, but it is taken care of. Care of. Be sure of that.
Yeah, I also, Panzer also talked about it on the official Discord, that he has an eye on it, and that it is for sure an issue that is taken serious. Yeah, the WARNO getting closer and closer to launch is fantastic, and yeah, also the devlog today was lovely to hear today, with all that part about maps, about the reworks coming up, and you getting ready to integrate them more into Army General, which...
Yeah, that is something I can talk about. We, as you probably seen, many of the oldest map of WARNO have seen some changes in those last patches, from Udinos to the last one. This is something we really wanted to do, first for technical issues and optimization, and in, of course, a design and visual way. And that's what Matt did with these maps. So Matt, if you want to talk about visual rework of, for instance, towns, it might be the good time.
Yeah. Yeah, so we improved the density of the city, you saw on towns in Black Forest, but also the general scaling of the entire maps. For example, the trees that were way too big before, and now put them in a more realistic size. We fixed some issues in some urban places, like a ground texture not showing in place, or assets that were missing, etc. And sometimes where it was needed, like this rework of Black Forest, some big improvement of the work on gameplay forests, fields, rebuilding of some roads, and big work on plateau. I don't know if you can say it in English.
Yeah,
That
it's
plateau.
plateaus, yes.
Big rework on plateau to how to explain that, to give more
To increase the readability of
yes,
the
increase
edges,
the
like here,
relativity,
right? Like we
and
have
to
here.
help for the gameplay, because there was
To
some,
fix some loss issues we had on plateaus edges.
yeah.
For instance, we had before some trees just at the edge of that plateaus, and that was
Blocking the view.
blocking the view exactly.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
and I think we can talk about the field culture.
The
The
fences.
field fences. The field fences were walked to to add more variety in bushes, in visibility when you zoomed out. Yeah, I think I do
So here we go.
other things.
The Black Hawk going in quickly here with some LRS, but the enemy is there already as well. We have a couple of Ultramakers coming in quickly, so that Black Hawk might have to reconsider if it wants to land there. And it does. Apache coming in once more though, but it does seem like it's not quite as many airplanes. Or no? Well, the first one is out. First A-10 on the battlefield. That's another Apache coming in from the other team as well. The 5th Panzer's Apache rocket trying to help out on the hill as well. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, very nice use of halos right there.
Ooh, A-10 coming in for the kill. And it will get the kill on the Apache as the Fliegerfaust come out a bit late. And oh, how did I get there? Lol. Fliegerfaust will try to beat the A-10. Small little Ginas coming around with rockets. And the F4F, ooh, will it get the kill? No, its last missile doesn't get the hit. And the F4F might be in trouble here. With an Eagle around, with Gephards on the ground. Oh. Okay, it will get out most likely as well. Or does the Eagle get on top of it? No, Tornado versus Eagle. The F-15 not having any missiles anymore. So Tornado actually favored here for once. And this was an intense air battle with the F-15 going down in the end. So in the air battle, slightly in favor of Blue. But the ground battle, there's the big question. Will they win that in the forest area at the sawmill as well? And that's gonna be quite tough here. As yeah, this is really intense territory. You have some decent line of sights here. You can use elevation quite a bit as well on the hills. But the buildings obviously allowing infantry relatively good cover, and then the forested edges can be always full of enemies. You have to be careful there. Also, a thing that I love to see is the usage of CV helicopters. Something that in Wargame Red Dragon and in the early days of WARNO was never used. But I believe the price changes plus the new CV changes really have given them a niche where they fit in.
Yes, indeed. And that's something we really care about. For instance, today I internally withdrew some zones because the helicopters couldn't land on it, and so they couldn't even capture it. So that was, of course, unbalanced. So that's something we really care about, and we keep it inside, and I am, in my humble opinion, really proud of what we did with that Halos CVs, something that wasn't even used before, or as a meme strategy, but a meme strategy isn't a really performance strategy.
Yeah.
So about T-Man's plays question, which is which map do we prefer to design as level builders? That is quite a difficult question to answer. I was going to say the smallest one because it is less work, but of course designing huge maps is kind of awesome because you know that what is going to happen on this ground, and so when you put a huge town in the middle of nowhere in a huge map, you know that it is going to be a lot of artifact of bombers, bombing sites, a lot of ATGM warfare, something that I really love to see, just to watch, you know. Of course, I love to play it, but even watching it is a lot of fun. And of course, if I'm something on more the ideal scale, in my opinion, is the 3 versus 3 maps. So like something that we did with Twin Cities, something we did with Iron Waters. Maps that are designed to be played 3 versus 3. I think it is really something that I do like because I can put pretty much everything in it. I can put open fields, which are great for tank battles. I can put forest, like I did in Black Forest, for instance, which is 2v2. So this is bad example, but okay. And I can put cities, which is another way to play WARNO. So Matt might be another opinion on this one. So Matt, what are your favorite map to design, Matt? 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 10v10? I don't know.
I don't know. I think I have not yet the experiences of building very different map in terms of size, but for the one I did, I think it's not the size of the map that matters, but more what the story the map is telling to us, how we organize the city, what we want to bring in terms of things to tell through like a little micro building scenery, like a car that crashed in fences in some cities, or like I like to play with that kind of stuff, but it's like it's because I'm an aesthetic oriented guys app, and for yes. I think
So
maps like Twin Cities, mixing buildings, H&M, water system, the lake, highway, new stuff, new kind of stuff that change from other maps. I think it's a good motivation and for us to work on those kind of maps.
so
Indeed.
It's the one I prefer.
which is your favorite map when it comes just to, if you have to pinpoint one map, which is the one you like the most
The one-
artistically and just from the feeling of it?
Yeah, of course I will tell Twin Cities because it was the one I worked the most. Arrived at Eugen Systems 10 months ago. So yeah, we'll pick this one. But there are other maps that are really interesting in terms of, we say, rendering and lighting. I think we have some improvement that can be.
Oh yeah, I have to say, I have the other new map that is a bit overshadowed, which is kind of funny because it's also a really dark map with
Yeah.
Darkstream, which is a bit overshadowed by the coolness of high rises and the autobahn on Twin Cities. But I must say, the more I play that map, the more it grows on me, and it really has become my favorite river maps. Obviously, river maps in RTS, always a hot topic. A lot of people not the biggest fan, but I believe with Darkstream, you really did a good job improving over, for example, Loop 10v10 and Chemicals in my eyes. With Chemicals also having its merits, but the river on Darkstream is really nicely placed.
And look, two versus two was also a quite nailed one because it was really well received by the community, in my opinion, as far as I can tell, in fact. So yeah, we always talk about river maps are not as good as other maps, if I must say. I understand that, I can know why, but I'm also, as a designer, a huge defender of diversity in the map pool. And I think the strength of WARNO when it comes to maps is diversity. Every map is playable in its own way. Every map is fun in its own way. That's really hard to tell for a French guy. And that's something that thrives in WARNO, and I'm really happy to work at Eugen system because I'm allowed to do different things from a map to another one. So I'm glad you like Darkstream, because it was a really hard one. Yeah, even maybe longer to arrive than Twin Cities, but due to other things that I won't tell you. Yeah, Darkstream was also a tough map to make, but I think we nailed it too. And to answer floppy disk, is there any Easter eggs in WARNO? I'm going to ask Matt, in fact. I've put like garbage bags at the middle of a football field in an early version of Twin Cities. I don't even know if it is currently in the game.
It's
And
still there.
it's not there. Oh,
No, it's still
okay.
there. I said it's still there.
Ah, okay, great. So I think it is a joke, in my opinion. It made me laugh just to think people playing football with garbage. That doesn't make any sense. And I've also put a bicycle at the top of a
Yeah.
very precise building in Twin Cities.
The flying bicycle.
Yeah, the famous flying bicycle. If you find it, great.
So yeah, go hunt that bicycle, guys. I want to see someone posting on Reddit who found the bicycle later. Go and hunt that bicycle, chat. I haven't
Man,
found
yeah.
that one.
But you can find some Easter eggs on some car parks, some towns. But it's like more like unwanted Easter eggs. So you should be quick if you want to see them because they will not be here anymore in the future.
Yeah, parking lots are a very difficult part to make in WARNO because they really feature a lot of different assets. And sometimes we have flying vehicles, that kind of thing. It is much more funny than it is a default, in my opinion. Yeah. That is difficult to make. Parking lots are much more difficult to make than it looks.
I also find this here. When I first zoomed on in, didn't that's also new assets, right? That building under construction at Bravo.
Believe me or not, it isn't. It is a very old asset that you might have seen in Crown, for instance, or in some other maps. So no, it isn't new, but it is the first time I used it with the white sand underneath it, and that's certainly why you saw it this time.
Okay, because I was like, I never saw that one before. Okay, so it's on other maps as well. Yeah, the amount of assets for sure in WARNO already feels bigger and might be bigger than Steel Division 2. I'm not 100% sure it is, but it feels for sure more varied already, which is cool to see, as we obviously just at the beginning of this.
I don't have the exact number. I don't know if you have, Matt, the number of assets in the game.
I don't have the exact number too, but yeah, tell you that there is more assets, diversity in our assets in WARNO than in SD2. And we're still doing improvement in that kind of stuff too. Yeah, actually. So
Absolutely.
we are sometimes adding some new assets, some new textures too. So yeah, it's cool that
like the texture of broken wood we can see in Black Forest, which is brand new right for this map. The areas where there was forest and there isn't forest anymore. So yeah, our 3D team is doing a great job on creating new assets, and we try to keep things as diverse as we can with our production value and our production capacity. Be sure of that. And we always on our toes when it comes to new assets and new things in WARNO.
Yeah, Rift and Darkstream with the Knights for sure are pretty nice as well. Rift and Darkstream, the night visuals are also nice.
Yeah, night visual is novelty when it comes to WARNO. It was also really challenging to do, of course, as a lot of things when we talk about WARNO. In fact, it's a challenging project for Eugen system, but I think it's going quite well. Night is complicated because it is pretty, it is wonderful to see, but it can be really quick, absolutely complicated to play because it is really difficult to see roads, for instance, and navigation systems when it comes to night maps. We used a lot of techniques to make the roads more visible during night, and we're delighted to see that you like it, guys. And girls, of course. Never forget women.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know what is your opinion about it, Protos, but yeah, it's some kind of new stuff we like to test in our game. But yeah, it's clearly more difficult to do lighting in night, lighting the night in our maps.
I mean, the night maps make the explosion visuals just pop out so much more, which is beautiful. Especially as Panzer is also constantly doing working on getting those looking better and better, as he showed us last time.
Yes.
And I believe there was a short yesterday or 2 days ago where he showed it once more. Ooh, Apache getting bullied here now by some airplanes. So yeah, since I liked night maps a lot back in Rome Total War and Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion especially, where you had those fire arrows and those fire nagas, and like since then you don't have that many night maps in other RTS either. Regiments did it pretty decently, I guess, but like yeah, the Eugen ones, it's just so beautiful. The light show is just one step up again about this. Like the scenery, obviously here, the skybox with the sun in the background and so on is awesome, and the explosions don't look bad here either. But on night maps, it's just one level above. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm not sure if I would love them in ranked pool all the time, but obviously in the bigger maps, it's pretty cool to have them there, just as something to play around with. Yeah. Obviously, the wish of the whole community would be to make that moddable. Let's see if that happens one day. But it's already cool to have some night maps as is right now.
Yeah, Panzer is really doing a huge job when it comes to lighting. He always managed to trickle 1 or 2 parameters to create a new mood, a huge new lighting, and it is really something he learned with WARNO, and he's improving with every light he does. So kudos to him when it comes to lighting.
Yeah, especially as he made them more beautiful and somehow still improved performance, which is the most interesting thing. Like I remember, there's so many video games out there where they improve a lighting thing and then your performance tanks. With WARNO, it feels the other way around. Like it gets more beautiful and it gets better performance somehow. As we right now see the blue team bullying the red team here a bit now in the center. Yeah, they got full control there. It's a 2v2 and 1v1 Black Forest are just such different kind of things, because in 1v1 covering the whole front line is so tough and you see a lot of movement through the forest, whilst in 2v2 that town here just becomes such a massive battlefield, which is cool to see as well. Like I believe both has merits, and Black Forest plays well in both sides. So it's just a different kind of game. And yeah, the
Yeah.
blue team finally was able to outman and overwhelm the enemy here. And that puts red in a lot of trouble. They basically are now forced to win the forest fight, but it doesn't look amazing there either.
Yeah, exactly. Blue team is winning on either side, so I don't know how red team will manage to take it their way and to keep it on the right foot, but we'll see how it goes.
Yes.
As you said, one thing very specific when it comes to Black Forest is these different aspects of Black Forest, which I really enjoyed personally. If you have a DB, you can go through the plains. If you have infantry, you can go through the cities and or the forest areas. And if you have the air superiority, you can play very wisely with the huge forest at the center of Black Forest, which is why I think with the new version of Black Forest is also one of my favorite 1v1 map. If not my favorite. I think it's my favorite. I really love Two Ways too, but Black Forest is really cool to play.
Did you play it internally with the other guys in 1v1? Or
We try to play as much as we can internally, of course, because playing is really important to keep a good idea of what WARNO is currently, what WARNO should be, what WARNO succeeds in. So we try to play a lot. Of course, our QA team are the one who play the game the most. And of course, every time we do a novelty in WARNO, we try to test it as much as we can. The thing that we don't do very much is a 1v1 match. We tend to do that, but essentially in work in progress maps, due to productions issues that I won't explain here. But internally, we do test a lot of map, namely in 2v2 situation, 3v3 situation, with developers and with members of our other sub-teams at Eugen, which is both fun and very useful to keep the maps as good as they are right now.
now a lot of quite a couple of people there will be shocked out there because the rumor still has it that Eugen doesn't play their games, but I believe we made a good job with the Friday Night Warners, proving them wrong bit by bit. Yeah.
The truth is we will never play our game enough. You know
Yeah.
that is the truth,
But that's
because
because
we
you have to work on
cannot-
it, unlike us.
We cannot
Yeah.
play it as much as we can because we have to work on it, and because when the dates come off, we might just want to play Senua's Sacrifice, for instance, or take some time to spend with our children, with our friends, extra, which is normal, by the way. But we try to play it a lot, to play it as much as we can, to be as close as possible to the real experience that constitutes WARNO and that should be WARNO, both as a player with a player view, you know, and a designer and conceiver view, which is both views are important when it comes to WARNO as our job and as our game, in fact.
Something that I'm really surprised by here right now is that we don't see more artillery from Booth. Like the player on the red team who's playing 82nd Airborne. He is usually well known for playing a lot of artillery. And yes, 82nd doesn't have the best artillery, but they have... The light howitzers, I believe, actually profited the most from this recent patch to artillery in comparison to the rest of the artillery. So I'm quite curious that we don't see more artillery from him, as currently the red team only has one M109, whilst on the other side we have two M110s out, and those deal quite a bit of damage now, again. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting here. Leo 284.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Maybe it's because howitzer and artillery is really expensive these days, so they can't afford it. I don't know. That's my guess.
I mean, yeah, we also didn't quite see as much airplay as against us. Ooh, the F4F here not quite getting their bombs on target. But the M1IP did take some damage, is heavily stressed out, but not dead yet, so more foot artillery or better sneak with the infantry is necessary. You can't just drive those heavily damaged Leo 283 now down the road. That needs some repairs. Unimog is coming up for it though, and it seems like blue team is setting up for the final push here. Fantix and Phoenix doing a good job here, pushing in into the enemy, really showing that they are top level players of this game at the moment. Ooh. Yeah, Carl Gustav getting the kill onto the M1IP, and this looks rather dicey now for the red team here.
I gotta say, I really love how the red team uses its mortars in the forest at the north of the map. It's really a good position to put a mortar in. Honestly, I never thought of it, so I'm quite surprised it works so well.
Yeah, I would argue it could be a bit better, a step further forward, as it is a bit too inaccurate on this range. But for smoke, for sure, it's a good thing. And yeah, here we go. The red team, though, has been beaten by now. And there we go. Blue team takes the victory in this game. And they will move on to the finals. Whilst Oof and Turkon, they were able to beat us. They were not quite up for the task here. So
GG, well played.
Yeah, GGVP to them, to Phoenix and Fantix, doing the job here. One of the toucan bird players, of which we have quite a couple around. Quite a couple of people with toucans in their profile pictures, but that's a lovely bird. It makes sense to have that in there. And yeah, we're gonna see what goes on next one, and who won on the other side of the semifinals, and who we will have in the finals.
Yeah, snipers are on their ways. This is something I'm really excited to play with, because when you say to someone sniper, okay, I know what it is, I know how it should be used, quite. I don't exactly know how it should be used, but I can see how. But I'm really thrilled to play with snipers once they would come out. The things that I wonder is, should I use my snipers differently than I use my heavy machine guns, for instance, which they have quite the same range, for instance. They might have quite the same range. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but it will be great in any way.
For everyone who doesn't know what a wooden box is talking about there right now, he's talking about the lovely Eugen YouTube channel, which if you haven't subscribed to yet, you should absolutely do so, as there's quite a lot of good content on there. And he's talking about this lovely short in there, with these bad boys firing a radar rifle. Getting packed.
I didn't even saw that.
So yeah, nice, lovely piece once more.
Okay.
Nice, lovely piece. Yeah, we will have a short break, and then we go. Then we will go into the finals. 5-minute break, guys, so everybody can get something to drink, and I can get the hydration that was set up. Everybody.
Right.
Sexy Tunguska versus Cope Masters. It's gonna be, and it's gonna be on one of the reworked maps. It's gonna be on 2 ways. A map that was quite one of the most played ones in tournaments before, and now with the rework is a solid bit better, thanks to improved pathfinding and so on. So I'm looking forward to see how it will play out in 2v2. Yeah, it's really seemed like 2 ways is the closest I feel like we have to Oh, no, it's not quite. I guess Death Row is the one that is the most like stock standard RTS map, and the one
Yes,
with this like the
Death Row is conceived this way. In fact, it is conceived to be the standard map. If you don't know what map to play it on, you're going on for Death Row, and it's okay, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And like two ways is like the big brother of that, like the slightly better, more complex one. If you want to have that next level up, I've always felt like two ways is that one level up, which
I'm going to say 2 ways and 2 lakes. 2 lakes also fits in this area, in my opinion.
yeah, true, true, and it's nice to see. I mean, obviously you have to know, it's how you designed them, uh, and yeah, it's lovely to see how that you guys were able to improve the map with some small tweaks. Especially the middle zone feels a lot better, and then that pathfinding. It's it's so much more relaxing now with the
Yeah,
pathfinding not being.
pathfinding is of course, a major component of any RTS design, but of WARNO, of course, it is, and it is something that we improved a lot through the existence of WARNO. So if we can continue to improve it in the most the oldest map, and of course the upcoming maps, we're of course going to take a very careful look at it. Be sure of that. We don't mess we don't mess with pathfinding. If I should say it,
Yeah,
we try not to. In fact,
always, always one of the hardest things to get right in any RTS.
yes,
Always
indeed.
improving the game.
Pathfinding.
Pathfinding, objectives. That's the two things we we will never be perfect on that, but we will always try to be.
Yeah, always try to get that next level up, and I will say you for sure have improved quite a bit from what I have, from my feeling with those maps. Like the newer
Thank
maps
you very much.
feel a lot smoother, and like already you can see the improvements on your side as well when it comes to that design, which is cool to see. Like just how
Eh,
the game gets better and better with you guys also improving your skills time and again. It really shows that the passion on your end.
Yeah, we do. In fact, when it comes to Matt and me, we are quite new to the Eugen team. In fact, even Sardoka, I think, joined the team 3 years ago. I joined the team during May 21, and Matt joined the team pretty much a year ago. I don't exactly remember when, but
10 months
yeah,
ago, approximately.
yeah, that's something like that. So of course we are improving, and we really try to do our best, and we 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 take a huge. We really listen to the feedback of the community on this one. So
We
be
really
sure
pay attention about the feedback of
be sure
community.
to tell us if you don't like something. Be sure to tell us if you really do like something. We read this and we try to make the best map we can.
Tatastico is always hearing your feedback.
Yeah, the official Discord has really shown an increase of developer activity since WARNO early access launch. It's cool to see how much you guys interact there and filter and absorb the feedback. Yeah, it
You're
just
welcome. I think
and
it's normal.
what is the other in the video game that inspired you the most when it comes to level design, and not like outside of other Eugen games? Obviously, like yeah, it's an evolution of Eugen and Wargammer Dragon and Steel Division
When
maps.
it comes to level design,
But yeah, when it comes to level design,
when it comes to level design and it comes to RTS, I really liked what they did with Command Conquer 3. which is quite old right now. He was out in 2007, if I remember it right. Command Conquer 3 has a garrison system quite comparable to what WARNO does, and it is a great source of inspiration when it comes to level design. And of course, I think my favorites are tiers like. I won't talk about Age of Empires 2 because Age of Empires 2 has a procedural level design, so it is quite specific. But Age of Empires 3 has a lot of design intentions in this map. In its map, so it is always cool to play a map on Age of Empires 3, even if sometimes it means, I have a water map and I don't have a water civilization, so I'm just going to lose. That's something that happened in Age of Empires 3. It's not a
The
perfect
curse
game.
of water in any RTS is.
Yeah, that's it. And
Eugen
Age of
dipped their toe
Empires
in
was,
that as well once, I remember.
Red Dragon had waters. We have to remember it. And when it comes to level design as a discipline, if I might say so, a lot of games are wonderful. Recently, like 2 weeks ago, I played Eco on the PS2. And Eco is honestly wonderful in its way it uses the empty spaces. And empty spaces are something that are, how to say it, we don't look at empty spaces, but we see empty spaces and we use these empty spaces. And when it comes to WARNO, if we don't have empty spaces, we don't have tank warfare, for instance. So empty spaces are as important as full or developed spaces like towns, forests, or reliefs, for instance. So this is really by playing other games and other games, even when it comes to other genres, not only playing RTS, that I find inspiration. And for Mature, which is much more doing graphical design and graphical level building, I just giving the speech to say which are his references.
My preferences in terms of level design, I think um, I'll pick Dishonored
Yeah,
because of the what I said before, the immersion of the game mixed with intelligent level design been built on many approaches the game gives you to get to your goal, and I think it's really good. It's a really good game at it.
I couldn't
It's
agree more. Yeah,
yeah, it's one of the rare game. Sorry for my accent, it's terrible. It's one of the game I'm happy to play again and again because of these different type of approaches with the same maps, giving you the feeling of
different
some
approaches.
different game, like it was a different game, playing
Yeah,
with power or with
yeah.
steals or with
Hitman does it very right too in this
Oh
kind
yeah,
of way.
yeah, that game just really immerses you so much.
And I
Also, yeah,
have to say that my teacher in level design worked on Dishonored 2, so I cannot say I agree more with Mathieu with what he said about level design of Dishonored. So yeah,
yeah.
very cool hearing at him like he was a madman. When you design Dishonored, you just become mad.
Yeah.
That's something very impressive.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. I played. I didn't play much Dishonored 2, but yeah, I remember those levels. They really have some oomph. And yeah, we are here on the final map. We are here with our two finalist teams, with Zubos and Foxy as the sexy Tunguska, and with Fantix and Phoenix on the other side as the Cope Masters. And let's see if they once more go up to their name and get second place, or if they win this time around. If they actually can make it work against Zubos and Foxy here. With a pretty cool matchup as well, as we have the Germans, the West Germans on one side, and we have a Soviet duo here on the other side with 79th and 35th Air Assault Brigade. So that should be a cool map. And yep, Team in Place also asked what was the reason for the lighting change on this map. As you
Beauty. We that's something you should ask to Panzer, of course, because Panzer is the master of ambience and moods. But when it comes to two ways, we wanted something a little bit a little more green, you know, because the game takes place in a precise historical setting, and we didn't wanted the yellow bright aspect that we once had on two ways. Not that it was a bad way of showing a map, but we thought it was a better way of showing the warfare aspect of two ways that greenishing its lights. I think that some things like that tried Panzer here.
Yeah, it also feels like Central Germany. Not gonna lie, like if I think of Thuringia and Hessen, like this looks pretty close to it now. Like this really has the feeling of those kind of regions in Germany. So good job there, I would say. As we have quite the interesting setup here by now. As good couple of BMP2s, couple of helicopters will come in as well. And on the other side, the Leos coming up. We will have to wait a while for Phoenix. He's known for being a really, really slow person to set up, as he only set up the eldest leader so far. But that gives us a bit more time talking about level design, and I can bring up my small tiptoe experience that I did lately up there, as I got inspired by Eugen a bit in that as well. As the lovely game Second Front came out 3 weeks ago, I believe, by now, which is a hex-based World War II game. And they have a really cool map editor and scenario editor in there. And one of my favorite campaigns of all time is the Steel Division Normandy 44 campaign with the Americans. Like, that had just such a cool feeling. And I tried to recreate that, and I must say, it's a lot hard. It's a really hard thing to nail. But thanks to that amazing editor, plus Eugen's great work on the original scenarios that I use as a blueprint, I'm by now getting relatively close to getting to a part where I really get close to feeling that that campaign actually will be good to play.
Great job, you can be proud of it.
Yeah, but it really made me once more visualize for myself as well, like what kind of small aspects, like a bush there, a small little wall over there that can give cover, and yeah, that the setup of forces, how you set up combined arms, how you get an AI to use combined arms by forcing it through a map, like all of that, how tough that is, which is quite cool. And also, yeah, let's freaking go here. It's about time.
Just to answer Tikismad, because I know him. I know you, Tikismad. He's part of the Eugen team, of course. I didn't play Tunic, but it is on my to-do list. Just
what
for
is
you to know.
Tunic? I haven't heard of that.
Tunic is like it's made by a solo Japanese dev, if I'm right on this one, dev. And it's like a Zelda-like, played with a tiny and wonderful fox, which has this level design based on a map that you have to read, but you don't understand what is written on it. You have a huge book and a huge map that you have to understand without having the tools to understand it correctly. It is quite impressive when it comes to world building and navigation. I must replay it. It sounds cool.
Oh yeah,
And the
that
fox
game looks
is very cute.
really interesting. I just searched it on Steam.
It is so cute. I mean, look at this fox. He's so cute. Yeah, that was the map. That was the map.
As a Zelda fan, it's on to do lists too.
Of course it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games coming out. And WARNO and Steel Division are also always throwing you back in with all the patches. Matt hard at work and on together with the rest of the team and the voice actors now on the next lovely Jabak and Festung Dunkirk divisions. Which are so quite.
So Protoss, what do you think is going to happen at the beginning of the game?
Let's have a look. I believe it will be a push from 35th Air Assault that will have to be defended by the other team. But with Fallschirmjägers being around, thanks to 2nd Panzer Grenadiers Fallschirmjäger attachment, I would say it should be defendable. And then the big question is, what kind of way the two German divisions will go. Like, either they can give up a bit of the initiative and go into an artillery advantage, which they should have, with
Yes.
both decks bringing M110s, or we could see a really big Leopard 1 push with like a couple of Leo 2s behind it.
I
And
would love to see that.
I believe that's the two ways this can go. And then, yeah, for the other team, I'm pretty sure it's getting that first oomph in and then just trying to defend it with the 35th player providing some good forest infantry. Spesnat's still the best CQC infantry in the game. And being annoying with some aircraft, with some helicopters. And the 79th bringing the heavy tanks wherever they are needed. As we already see a good couple of tanks here in the north coming in. Most of them T-62s here. But we have a T-80UD from the get-go. Yeah, I did expected that to be seen, as Zubos is a big fan of bringing the biggest of tanks. And now with cluster bombers not being quite as much of a menace anymore with the suicide runs, it's a good bit better, easier to use them, which is lovely to see. As obviously, like in any Cold War game, the T-80UD, the M1A1, and the Leo 2 are the selling points, and it was a shame that we saw so little of them in competitive play before. And they are still beatable, obviously. I mean, they still have weak side armor and so on, so if you can get something on top, they still die. And artillery and bombs are good to whittle them down now as well, but I'm pretty sure they will have a slot in the meta now, which is quite nice to see. And yeah, wonder how effective that T-80UD can be, as it is going towards the center, I believe. Yes. Which is a territory that is always pretty hard to use with tanks in my experience. Like, you have that one line of sight there, but it also obviously allows for some side shots, so I wonder if the better idea would not be to try to attack the town in the north. As even though with all the improvements on the map, I would still say left side has a slight advantage at the moment when it comes to balance, as Delta is slightly easier to attack than Alpha. But we're gonna see how it goes. That's currently the constants of the top level players. That left side still has holds a slight advantage, but it's more so about gameplay and division matchup than it is decided by maps, and that's how it should be. Yes. Yeah, the maps are all asymmetrical, and that means we will always most likely have some slight advantages on one side or the other. But this map here is getting relatively close now to what I would say is a balanced state where it is somewhat negligible in the big picture.
There is, like in every game, you know, a debate and pros and cons about symmetrical versus asymmetrical design, extra. In fact, the truth is asymmetrical design is tougher to make, I think. I believe it. It can be debated, but I do believe it. And what we're aiming for with WARNO is partially asymmetrical design, rounded around around balance issues. You know, we don't want any side to have a side advantage in a competitive multiplayer situation, which is quite logical when we think of it. So this is what we aim for in WARNO, because we really want our maps to look like central Germany, and it is something really important to us. It is something WARNO is, in fact. If WARNO isn't in central Germany, it isn't WARNO, you know. So our reference is the reality, and fortunately or not, the reality isn't symmetrical. So most of the time we choose to not be perfectly symmetrical if we can. For instance, in 2-way, I think we quite nailed it with the way we did the several hills, which are really asymmetrical, but which look like, I'm convinced these hills can exist in reality. In fact, they exist in reality. They're based on real hills. So that's something I'm proud of when it comes to WARNO.
Yeah, remember in one of the earliest dev diaries, there was a
Yes,
mention that you use like 3D like surface scans for the base layout of maps. Is that did
exactly.
I understand it correct? Okay, yeah. So this is how.
This is, we do not always do like that for some technical issues and design intentions. Sometimes we go to we try to reproduce reality instead of getting real data from reality, but we always work from references, and most of our rivers and our mountains and hills are based on real mountains and hills and real rivers. And when I say most, it really means most. It is the largest part of the game by far.
Yeah, mixed with some references to old games, and then obviously the new part, like Twin Cities, partially has some inspiration from one of the more popular Warhammer Dragon maps, if I remember correctly, as well, right?
Indeed, it has, yes.
The lovely
uh,
highway to Oslo map, I believe it was, or highway to.
when designing uh, Twin Cities, in fact, internally it was called Highway to something, you know, because we were based on the previous design, previous iteration of the highway to somewhere, to hell, to Oslo or to Seoul version of highway maps. And of course, we used these three different maps as a reference, as a basic tool, a basic function in design to conceive the new highway to somewhere, which has become Twin Cities in WARNO. And to answer your question, between these three maps, our main reference was Highway to Seoul from Wargame Red Dragon.
Yeah, yeah. Also nice to
Design-wise,
see
of course.
because I had some people popping in my chat on Monday when the map launched, and I was like, wait, this looks familiar, and I was like, oh yeah, this remembers me of my good times on that highway to Oslo or highway to Seoul map, and yeah, it's nice to see that the reference is visible without the map losing its own feeling. Like Twin Cities for sure is its own beast, with
Yes.
the highway having those German Raststätten and all of those nice feeling. And yeah,
That's the goal. So
do we get a highway of death for WARNO as well? Is the question of Vero.
We don't know for now. I cannot answer this for sure. So we know how to use highways in WARNO. That's a thing, and that's all I can say.
As we have the game starting, and yeah, let's see where most of the units will clash. It seems like it will be the center, but the blue team has quite a lot of units around Delta as well, which is not quite the usual way of doing this, but in the 2v2 you can bring in quite a couple of forces there. We will see if they will try to mount a push into Echo. Which is always a bit of a risky push, but if you can get there, can be quite rewarding. Well, in the south we have an Akula from the get-go. It's only the Eakula, the slightly cheaper one. Or like quite a bit cheaper one, as the Aquila with the Vickers ATGMs is an expensive beast, but also one of the most deadliest weapons in WARNO in general. And Phoenix actually trying to go really deep here, but getting punished for it. His Faltermakers are caught out in the open, and that's not looking good. The B-24 and the Aquila opening fire now, and these Faltermakers, you don't want to be them.
But this is dramatic.
That push has failed, so blue team actually the one with the more aggressive start and running into the enemy a bit too much head on in my eyes. But quite interesting to see that the red team is not pushing harder. Red team is okay with just getting maybe a bit of the advantage in the center and going from there. But we don't have any Leopards. So, oh no, one Leopard 2A3 in the north. Okay, I wasn't spotting that before. Okay, one Leo 2A3 so far on the battlefield. But that is it. No Leos at all from our second Panzer Grenadier player with Phoenix. And that's quite interesting. As they're obviously an integral part of both German decks. But it's mostly infantry together with some scimitars. Scimitars still can be quite deadly with the 30mm with their recon capabilities. But they have been nerfed a bit. Especially one British player that I don't have to call by name, I'm pretty sure. A lot of the master of the cheese has used them quite a bit to destroy people with, and the Eugen balancing team did react to by nerfing them a slight bit, so that they are in a better state and not quite as abusable. As we have our first airplane coming as well, an Su-25 in the north, and that could do some damage here. The Apache for sure could be on its list. Leo 2A3 smoking off, that is a wise choice, as the AA over here is rather low in numbers. One Roland 3 in the rear, but pretty far away. And here we go.
That's a way to deal with a Leopard, I guess.
Well, Vulcan, I'm not sure if you were watching from the beginning, but actually, my partner from Eugen Systems was playing a British division early on. So, don't...
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of SAS. I do love the second inf. I don't play them well because I don't play well at all, but I really love the way they feel. So yeah, no, I'm not about patriotism when it comes to games.
And here we go. MiG-31 versus Tornado F3 coming around. And for everyone who was playing over the last week, this must have been a welcome sight. A MiG-31 using all its 4 missiles on a long range. It's not the most accurate of missiles, so they all missed their target, but it actually was able to fire them all. And Vulcan is not quite believing it.
Vulcan is not convinced.
As we have some martyrs and some Securings around here. Zubos and Foxy. Keeping up the pressure in the center, but not getting the point advantage I expected them to get. Blue team pretty quick on their CV capturing here as well, and it's a relatively slow setup. I expected it to be more explosive than it is here in the end.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is quite putting its armies here and there and waiting for an opportunity to happen. But I think they will have to create the opportunity instead of waiting for it.
Roland 3 here, forcing back the Su-25. Yeah, Roland 3s for sure are pretty scary beasts now, with their range working on 5,000 meters. Or 4,600 meters. As they were one of the receivers of the range buff. They also got a bit more expensive again, as that seems to be the balancing direction that we go with at the moment. Hopefully with seaplanes getting a bit of a range buff as well in the near future to counterplay that a bit. But in general, the air dynamic is an interesting one, and I believe it's a better one than what we had before. As we are still in early access, everything is still up in work in progress, but it's in general a better feeling than what we had before in this patch, I would say. obviously last week was a big week of controversy, and it was not the best patch that we had on, but this one here feels a lot better again. Yes, we have a Mi-26 coming in. 6,000 supplies. One of the big milk cows that can't wait to, like, the basically already an FOB, just a flying one.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yes, 6,000 supplies. Like, how do you even use that supply? You know, you have to fire a lot of ATGM to use that.
You use it with a rocket launcher, especially the one that is already coming up behind it, and that can perfectly use up that supply. As we have the TOS one coming around, and I'm really interested to see how that one will go now, because with today's patch, it's not firing left to right anymore, and I'm really interested to see how that works out on the TOS. The TOS one, an absolutely scary weapon, and now with randomized fire, I believe this is a big buff to these kind of weapons. And the big question is it good enough to make them fully functional, or will we need a couple more buffs to it? But it should be quite interesting to see them working in tandem with the Mi-26 of the 35th Air Assault there. Roland 3's meanwhile in the north, keeping the Su-25s at bay. And ooh, the Mi-26 already getting hunted down. It has to get away. Oh, it's trying to get away now, as the blue team did see it quickly and got an M110 firing on it. M110 does deal good damage, but the Mi-26 luckily is a pretty beefy boy. 15 hit points. It's down to 2 now though, so it might need another supply truck to repair the Mi-26 here. It can't quite self-repair, but the Dejan Hewatts could come around and try to get it up back to 15 hit points, because having it on 2 hit points with still 5,800 supply in it, losing that would obviously be a massive blow. It's an expansive unit. And yeah, good snipe there, good catch by Phoenix, trying to get the shots onto it. On the previous patch, there would not have been any reaction time now for Zubos and Foxy. The artillery would have just killed it. On the patch we have now, it did deal good damage, but with a somewhat quick reaction, Foxy was able to save it before the third shot did land. So good save there. As we have the Buratino coming in now, and this is going to be really interesting. How will Phoenix react, and how much damage will that Buratino do? Ooh. The M110 sniping some infantry here in the building, getting a fire team eliminated. And here we go. Shots coming out.
Time. It's going to happen.
Oh, the Iltis leader. It's going down. But the Scorpion and the Aufklärer so far lucky. Oh no. Oh no, I cast a curse these guys. I cast a curse these guys so badly. With the last 2 rocket hits, they go down. And yeah, Buratino getting a good hit. Phoenix trying to retaliate with bombs. What the quick reaction there. With the Buratino falling back. Ensures that it won't get hit.
A brutal thing.
And the tornado comes on onto the Kula Mi-24V, flying around there as well. And yeah, I'm a bit sorry there, Phoenix, for the caster curse. Yeah, I learned that from the best. Tasteless Anatosis doing, yeah, that really was a Atosis level of caster cursing there. Leo 283 coming around. For everyone who has watched StarCraft in the past and hasn't followed up the latest tournament there, by the way. An amazing grand finals last weekend of the StarCraft 2 World Championships over at Katowice, with Tasteless Anatosis once more in a lovely cast there in the grand finals, and a super cool timeline. One of the biggest upsets in my eyes in esports history, with world rank number 22 taking out the top 3 players of each race on the way to the finals, in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then in the finals. And like one of the biggest dark horse / underdog storylines in esports history. It was fantastic. But we have a pretty tense final here going on as well. TADUD does push forward. And currently nothing really there to keep it at bay. So TADUD might be able to capture the center completely. Buratino for sure doing a good job there. SPG9 engaging onto the M48 in the south. As we have the Scorpion moving forward as well. SPG9 and Spetsnaz 3RU under heavy fire here. Dejan Hiki Medis getting some nice hits in as well. Skimitar. No, Skimitar, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. That's not a fight you can win. You are a good vehicle, but that is a bit out of your class. No, that was not what you wanted to do there, Skimitar. TADUD does win that head-on. M48 also not the tank to rival the TADUD there. More Leo 2A3s coming in. With one or two of those, you can start to do something. But it's not gonna be easy to dislodge this TADUD. Meanwhile, in the north, SU-25 on the hunt for Leo 2A3. Cannot find the connection, or will Fantix react in time? Fantix not reacting yet. ATGM is flying in, but Fantix gets the smoke off just in time, and the Roland 3s keep this guy clean. Roland 3s for sure a lot more efficient with the range increase. As the MiG-27 comes in onto the Roland 2-3. Ooh, good hits. TAUD coming in now as well. And you have the rockets stunning down the Leo 2A3, getting some good damage on it as well. It will allow the TAUD to win that fight if the Leo doesn't disengage. Leo now on the reverse, but TAUD also not just having a good gun, but also having a fantastic ATGM, and that actually does the work. The reflex, really, really scary. And yeah, blue team's now is in trouble here, ain't it?
Yeah, TATUD always remembered me how the IS felt in SD2. It's really a steel beast that you know, sometimes you really want to take care of it, but you just cannot, and that's that kind of power it has. Yeah, TATUD is a beast in WARNO.
We have some artillery coming on top of it though, and let's see how two M103s come in here. I really like that, because that gives us perfect reference to today's death log, and as you can see, it does deal damage to the TADUD. TADUD takes some good hits there, and actually gets taken out by an ATGM plane there, I believe, which got killed off right afterwards, but the TADUD is toast, and M110s are capable now. They're not two-shotting heavy tanks anymore, but they for sure are still scary. You can't sit an M110 fire and expect to be fine. Those big shells of these 203mm guns will leave some impact. In the north, T-62s and TADUDs moving forward as well. But yeah, blue team is in trouble. They need to find an answer to red team's advances. And artillery plus Leo 2A3s might be the way to go, but they need a bit more beef in front of it. Phoenix has a lot of infantry close to the center zone, but all the infantry just seems to be a bit out of place. I'm not quite sure what he can achieve with those Feldjägers and Pioneers over there. Whilst the TADUD is fighting now in the fight of the Steel Beasts. Two Leo 2A3s and a Leo 2A4 on the other side, and yeah, when outnumbered, the TADUD will still go down. Zubos not on the smoke yet, and there we go. Gets taken out. The Leos all still alive. Leo 2A4 and 2A3 heavily battered, so they will need some repairs. And, oh, I didn't know that. This animation is new, isn't it? Or did I never see that before? The engine here is steaming hot. This Leo 2A3 needs some help.
Yeah, Panzer is always doing improvements into animation, so it might be new. I don't exactly know it, to be honest. But yeah, it's certainly new.
It's a new animation.
Yeah, it's the first time that I noticed it for sure. As he also has added quite a couple of really cool ones around airplanes. of like fuel leak and things like that. They're also looking absolutely fantastic.
Some improvements on missiles, trails, smoke, and like this kind of stuff. Fix in general are improved regularly.
Me-24V and a cooler coming around here now over the hilltop. Let's see what they can find. Cooler has some AA missiles. Will try to engage the Apache. Iglas gets some hits in here. Apache, one missile down from getting killed off, but the Akula doesn't chase it down to the end. Oh, and the Roland with the flank gets the Me-24V. The Akula has to get the hell out there. What an engagement here on the hill. With the in the end, a slightly better outcome for the blue team here. As the Su-25 also flies into the Roland range, and the Rolands are so scary now. That range is for sure quite impressive. And as I said, we might need to see some increase in the range of seed as well to be able to counter that a bit more. But Alpha Jets getting the Akula, pay for it though, as the Strellas are capable of dealing with those little birds. Meanwhile, another plane of the red team though going down in flames over here, and they don't have any seed planes as far as I can see. So the Rolands can just stay safe and on there. And the Buratino also so far the only artillery piece. So red team's still on a +3, but they took some heavy losses there lately. And I feel like blue team is getting close to be able to push back into the center, as no TUD is around anymore there. No helicopters in the sky. Su-25 heavily decimated. The only trump card that is still remaining with red is that Buratino. And it is coming back now. So let's see what it can do. Yes. Yeah, we had a question from Kamerad Drew with about the campaign, and Tick already answered it. That it is obviously hard to say when exactly it's going to be ready, but it is currently for sure one of your main focuses over at Eugen, right? Like the single player content is
Exactly. Single player content, army generals are our two main goals at Eugen's for now. Single player content and army generals, which are both huge amount of new work. When I say that, I mean that we don't for now have that kind of thing in the definitive WARNO. Of course, we have some testing version internally, and it is really something we take a lot of time to do, because we really want to do the better thing we can with the tools of WARNO.
And today you in the dev blog it was said that maps in the campaign will be partially, like, obviously fitting the terrain. Will it be like a pool? Obviously, yeah. The answer here is getting close to not answerable, most likely. But will it be a pool, or will it be like a pinpoint to the position, and you always get that map? Because I remember that one of the biggest criticisms of Steel Division maps campaigns was that the map pool for each campaign was a bit too small, and it was a bit too often the same map. So, will you work?
You mean for Army General?
Yes.
Yeah, this is something that is really in discussion right now. The intention behind it is what we really aim to do is variety. You know, we want to the Army General game mode to be played again and again, and so in this way we really want a scenario and a skirmish that happens in Army General to feel different than that when compared to other skirmish that are also played in Army General. And this comes in two ways. The first one is we are really going to think a lot about layouts and how the maps are to be played, if I might say so. And the second thing is that we must do potentially, I'm going to say a lot of maps, but that doesn't mean anything. We are going to do many maps dedicated to the Army General game mode, be sure of that. And we're going to do our maximum to make it feel like it occurs, like different battles happens. Yes, that's rightly said. Different battles should happen during the Army General campaigns. And that's something we, of course, aim for.
Yes.
It is internally tested right now, as I say. Of
That-
course, no, because it is like Friday night, but you understand what I mean.
But yeah, that sounds quite cool. Really looking forward to when that comes around. Like, Army General, always an amazing concept in Steel Division. Execution, not quite where a lot of us wished it would be. So I'm really looking forward to that next level up that WARNO is promising
Well,
to be.
the goal with WARNO is to do better than what we did on Steel Division and on Steel Division. So we will be awaiting for your feedback on if it is better or not, and we do hope we will do that right, if I might say so.
To answer Feta's the question, yes, all missile ranges have been fixed. All missile ranges, missiles fire above 4,200 meters now if they have the range. They fire at the max ranges now again. So this is going well.
Yes, I'm telling you that, Vulcan.
Don't worry, Vulcan.
Yeah, you know, on my right screen, I'm coding right now. I'm saying Buratino plus 1,000 ammunitions. That seemed right. So yeah.
Where's the Buratino gone? Yeah, right. I'm trying to chase it down right now. Wait, did it go north? Did it die? No.
I don't know.
Am I blind?
Is it somewhere out of ammunition and needs to find a logistic?
It might have died in the south. I
I don't know.
too immersed in other things right now. Like, there was a lot of other things happening on the screen, and then we were talking, and now no, the Buratino's gone. That's not good. That's not good for the left team, because I'm pretty sure they only have one.
So what is happening right now in the game? I mean,
it's blue team having to push now, but they should have the means to push. But it's a +3, and what really hampered them was one Su-25 run. As Phoenix is lacking the AA in the south, the Rolands in the north are amazing. In the south, we only have one gap part here, and that's absolutely not enough AA. And that is getting punished real hard by Su-25s coming around. Like, yes, you can see them now getting killed off. That one gap part, together with the Fliegerfaust, is good enough to kill it in the end. But the Su-25s took out a good couple of Leos here. One Leo 2A4 and one Leo 2A3 earlier killed. Now another Leo 2A3 here getting killed this time. And those three tanks are being missed heavily now. Because with those three tanks, it would be easy to push back into Delta, into Charlie. Without it, it will be really tough. And they need to do it right now, right here. Otherwise, this game is over. And I'm not sure if they actually have anything in place to do so. It seems like red team might just get a start to finish victory here, with blue team never really getting any take up, as that couple of Su-25 runs really showed you that Su-25s, if you don't have the AA setup, are still pretty scary. I'm pretty sure it felt like
and red is nearing the 2,000 points.
Yeah, and blue team has no CVs moving into the center whatsoever, and that feels like a coordination issue on their part. Like, even if you not sure if you can keep it alive or not, you should try at least. And they're now going to try, and it gets instantly popped in the north. The Leo 1A5, Roland 3's not coming up with it, and now there's really no hope left whatsoever. There's no CV anywhere, and it's red team that will take the victory here this time around.
Yeah, GG to TAT UD and the Buratino, who did an amazing job. And to answer Royal Color, we are not allowed to talk about this. Of course, we won't talk about Steel Division 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have still content coming up for Steel Division 2. Or scratching a Steel Division
Exactly.
Royal Color. And next week, as was hinted yesterday, there will be more information about the next step for Steel Division 2. coming up on next week's devlog. And yeah, I mean, WARNO has a lot of things to come. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Yeah, but in the end here, GGVP to Zubas and Fexi, taking it this time once more. I believe that's their second time as the champions, as they really did a fantastic job here from start to finish. They lost to Buratino, I'm pretty sure, in the end, and I'm not quite sure what got the kill there. Couple of TAVs getting killed as well, but they played the objective just a good level better than their opponents. And
Can we see what killed the Buratino in the kill and losses?
I'm trying to find it. It should be under the timeline. I'm pretty sure it must have died somewhat close to the end. I will try to find it here. Yeah, Milan 2. Milan 2, and I'm pretty sure that was in the south, as I believe the Buratino was trying to get ready to get a shot off on the enemy tanks. And yeah, that's the issue of the Buratino. It has to get relatively close to the front line, and it might get shot there. And then that obviously is a really expensive loss. So yeah, well done by the Milan 2 here, getting the kill onto the Buratino.
GG, well played to everyone.
GGVP to everyone involved. And yep. Now the question is, do you guys still have a bit of time, or and do you have time
as for myself, yes. Do you, Matt, have a little bit of time
or
until 22?
A community 10v10, or
I can go for a community 10v10.
Okay, then we shall do and find a server. Any map you want to play on.
Oh, let me see. I'm going for destruction mode, if I might.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something like a Geyser destruction.
Okay, let's go to Geyser destruction then. Yeah, it died to that Milan 2 there. Okay, guys.
Going for the serve on this one.
Yeah, packed sounds about right. I will join you there, and I will get into that new division because I want to test out the Buratino a bit myself here.
Oh, okay, understood.
I want to see how artillery plays now on this patch with the randomized fire.
Going for Zentrum. I do like Zentrum. Zentrum has like something like PNs and ATGM in the same team. That's it's so bizarre, you know. I love it.
The weird thing with Centrum was like the fear that we like, it was really feared that this division would just be OP because it kind of looks like the all-you-can-eat buffet of Pact, right? But somehow you guys managed it to still make it in a way that it is actually balanced and it isn't OP, which is quite surprising. Like that was one of the few times that I felt like I was completely off. Like that division just looked so OP on paper, and it's only mediocre so far in competitive play. Like the results so far.
Yeah, Matt and the team nailed it right on this one. Oh, damn it!
The cheeky
nice to see you there.
Joining here.
Would you like to join us on the vocal team? Damn, no, a member of our QA team.
Yeah, and a well-known name to every Friday Night WARNO follower.
Yeah, the most regular member of Eugen featuring FNW.
And the proud winner of one of the Friday Night WARNOs as well.
Exactly. Against Karma, if I remember it right.
Yeah, against no one lower than current rank number 4, winner of WARNO League Season 0, Mr. Karma himself. And yeah, the rank list at the moment also looking quite interesting. I really want to get the rank number 2 and 1 into WARNO League Season 1 when that comes around.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm currently planning to. Yeah, that is planned for the launch, so that we can start WARNO's launch with a bang, having a big tournament coming up there. Yes. I'm really, yeah, a lot of the WARNO monthlies, which we are currently running in the meantime, a lot of those players are really excited to play out with the new patch as well. Well, I'm still believing that Karma is the best, as rank is another beast. But Q2521 has become really good in WARNO again, which is lovely to see. I'm a simp for Q2521. Like, if I would have to pick a favorite player of Eugen games of all time, it would be Q2521. And his plays in Steel Division Normandy 44s, when he played in tournaments back then, always amazing. He didn't play too many tournaments in Steel Division 2, which is a bit of a shame. So I really hope we can get him back in WARNO, as his playstyle is just really, really amazing. And yeah, we get more people in here now. I'm pretty sure there was another lobby that was filling up in front of us. Yeah. But now people should come around and we should get this filled up here.
Just do not hesitate to join us, whether it be on the NATO or Pact side.
There's a lot of lobbies filling up at the moment. Yeah, the game is really active. It's lovely to see that with Odino and the hotfix today.
Yeah, Odino was a major success. Honestly, 1951 people online is quite a lot for WARNO. We were like around 300 before Odino, so yeah, I cannot be more happy than I am right now. When I see that kind of player count, it's really encouraging in my everyday job, of course.
Yeah, we should reach the Steel Division 2 numbers soon, and then it is on to dethroning Wargame Red Dragon as the top game of Eugen systems in player count.
It's the ultimate goal, of course.
Which I'm pretty sure it can be achieved once with
I'm
the full
confident
launch.
so.
And hopefully, on my side, the wishes for media campaign that gets a couple more people in, which would be lovely. And yeah, let's try to get a wooden box and Phoenix in here as well. The wooden box always a good player as well. Really, really cool member of the community.
I
Let's
gotta
see
say that a wooden box is British and plays the British. Yeah, a wooden box is. I really want to thank everyone that is answering me and the rest of the dev team in the official Discord. For myself, I essentially communicate through the map feedback channel, but a wooden box is really, he knows what he says when he says something, and that's really helpful. And there is a lot of people like that in that very specific channel, and I really want to thank them. Vilis is awesome, Triumph is awesome, and really all these advices and all these feedbacks are what enhance WARNO from maps to maps and from time to time. I really want to say that and to make it clear that feedback is a useful tool that we try to use as wisely as possible to create wonderful maps and definitely a wonderful WARNO game. So yeah, thank you, a wooden box. I do know you, and I do appreciate your feedbacks when you give me them.
when we come to feedback and map design, and as we're going into a destruction map, and obviously destruction maps in WARNO and conquest maps have quite a bit of different layouts, and like some
Yes.
even having completely different angles on how they approach the maps.
Yes.
What is the basic philosophy that differentiates those two when it comes to the zone layouts?
You will want to hear it because it might sound quite deceiving. The basic rule with destruction mode is that there is no rules. When it comes to conquest game mode, we want the zone to feel like they are to be drawn on military, table boards. So there have to be squares or rectangles, really simple shapes. They also have most of the time to of course be placed in a balanced way, but we try to put them on a logical point of interest of maps. I know we have a lot to do in this way to do it in a better way, and we are trying to do it in a better way, but we will try to make a logical aspect of the objectives going on. And when it comes to destruction, for instance, we don't care about river, mountains, forests. This is something that we tried to get into the combat zone and the combat area to create a new situation and new ways to abort these combat areas and these micro tiny tactical fights. For instance, in destruction, it is really a rare thing to find except for instance on Rift, it is really rare to find a command zone that absolutely doesn't have any forest on it, and this is due to their chaotic, their ruleless way of placing them, of course.
So this is interesting. Ha. Where to go?
Yeah, but
that's also my first time on this map as a destruction map.
Differentiating both, you know,
I believe I will
the
try
conquest game mode and the other game modes was a clear design intention we had. We really want all WARNO's game mode to feel differently, to feel different, like really different, and that's why we decided to do the command zone in the destruction mode this way, that is to say in a very different way than what we did on the other game mode, for instance.
Okay, I will start with a Buratino and some books. Let's go with that on the right side.
Yeah, I'm going for the forest fight on the right.
What do we have for recon? Yeah, recon is really the biggest limitator of this deck, which is pretty cool. Also, obviously makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
Berlin is a known entity. You don't need to figure out the terrain and all of that.
Yeah, I guess when you are in garrison in Berlin, you quite know when the war happens, you know?
Yeah. So it makes sense from a design perspective, and it also is really good for the gameplay. Like, it obviously still has recon, but it's for sure one of the most limiting factor, not having a recon helicopter and all of that. But still having a lot of other powerful tools. And then the other thing, not having a great air superiority fighter, which means that thanks to the Book, you're pretty well defended against enemy airplanes, but you can't really protect your airplanes going into the enemy. So you really have to find a way of sneaking those in there. They will do damage, but not that easy. Mapmakers, let's see where we bring these in. Having to... It'll be interesting to figure that out. The Cyrus destruction map so far is my favorite destruction map. I really like that layout.
And do you know why you like this specific layout?
It's just so wild. Like it just feels so different. That's what I love.
It is wild. It was designed to be. Cyrus, something that we really like to do with destruction mode is rotating the existing map, and so that enables seeing the maps in a way we didn't saw them before, and that is really something really important to us when it comes to destruction mode, namely, and to differentiation between several game modes.
Ooh, damned, and one of our Chinese friends over here are going for some really wild strategies. A lot of Dejanikis flying over there with Me Too helicopters.
Did you notice that center and Ala have a reinforcement power? Oh, my English is going away. we might have a CQC fight near Ana and center.
Yeah.
Much more CQC than in other parts of the map.
The Feodor point is just interesting. Like, obviously, it's like that's the red herring. That's the point where you most likely will never capture it. But if you can capture it, it's gonna break the enemy's back. That zone layout is
Yeah,
interesting. Like,
Fedor
obviously,
and Elena
it would be
like,
utterly frustrating in Conquest. It would be utterly frustrating, but in here it makes sense.
That's what also I wanted to do. I say hi instead of we because I designed Geyser Destruction, in fact. Geyser Destruction is huge because it is Geyser, and Geyser is our biggest map by far. There is absolutely no contest on it about it. But what is really interesting is that you have to be wild considering mountains and hills, and Geyser is wild by essence. And what I wanted to do with Geyser Destruction is to make Geyser even wider, which on paper doesn't even sound like a good idea when I say it right now. But I mean, when you play 10v10, for instance, like in events like right now, you also want to see something that you don't even see in other game modes. And even though Destruction Mode is wide by essence in every map, in Geyser and bigger maps I really wanted it to be even wider. And this led to some technical issues, for instance. For instance, Fedor is so big that it needed some development to be captured by only one command unit.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. The frontline mechanic plopping up there takes
Exactly.
forever to capture it. Yeah.
So that is quite amazing when we think of it, in fact, you know?
Yeah, you're for sure pushing the design capabilities there, but that's cool. Like, obviously, we're always all for that, I guess, in the WARNO community, like seeing more things tested, trying to find the next good thing out there. That's really cool to see. And that's why
And when we have design intention as strong as this can lead to, for instance, maps like Twin Cities. Twin Cities is a mad map and not a bad map. Okay, Twin Cities is mad because Twin Cities is something we like didn't even try it before, and trying Twin Cities this way with this amount of novelty it has is something that of course was challenging technically speaking, but is also, in my humble opinion, really good for a game because it drives us in the right way of doing something new and trying something new with WARNO and potentially discovering a wonderful new thing, if I might say so.
Yeah.
Because if you don't experiment, in fact, you don't even have the opportunity to discover. And this is something really important when it comes to map design in WARNO.
As I said, losing Feodor might be hard. Well, we're not really losing it. Where's our CP there? Okay, no, it's in the far rear, but it's looking somewhat dangerous over there. But for now,
yeah, if we have a plane bombing this area, for instance, it could be very dangerous for us, I might say.
I'm lacking good... Oh no, there's a good target for my Buratino. My Buratino will try to get that Leo 2A4 from longbow. On the right side. Ooh, getting close enough. What's the range again? 3,500 meter. That's not gonna be easy. Well, let's see how that goes. And then we're gonna bring in another Lovely rocket launcher. One of those rocket launchers that were a bit misused lately. The napalm one. Yeah. 10v10 players did... Like, 10v10 obviously is so big that... and that you, first of all, playtesting it in Strike Team and so on is not really possible. And internally, I guess for you also pretty hard to do.
Yes.
And
it is a pain testing 10v10 game mode.
and every single, like, small issue with the game obviously multiplies there. And yeah, the the napalm rocket launchers of Unternehmen Zentrum created some not so cool scenarios in 10v10 from my experience. Yeah, you can find the changelog in the forum post. It's also on the Discord. Eclairponics. It's a relatively small one. It's not a full changelog, as I guess the patch was pushed out relatively quickly with not every single detail being able to make it in. The latest Q&A builds and so on were just being uploaded today if Steam DB is anything to go by. It's nice to see that patch coming out before the weekend. But yeah, on the Steam forums you can find it, and you can also find it posted on the Eugen Discords and on the SD League Discord as well. Ooh, let's get this Buratino back. Ooh, Martyr coming around. No, 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 no. Ooh, get the F4F. Do you have anything to protect my Buratino on the right side?
Checking in. Yeah, sending some troops. I mean, they are way less valuable than Buratino.
Trying to save this thing. Okay,
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I believe I'm getting it out. Ooh. Oh, damned, you beast. Damn it, got already into Gregory. That's impressive. Our team is a bit styling on the enemy team, but doesn't the enemy team have Fantix and Phoenix not able to carry over there? Once more losing. They will be able to cope once more. If we can keep it up. Yes. Oh yeah, the income balance currently is looking a bit rough. And yeah, that's really... I feel like destruction in WARNO really you somehow feels a lot more aggressive than destruction felt in Steel Division, and also from what I remembered seeing in Wargaming Dragon. I didn't play much there.
Always in the idea of making destruction wild, and that is the core term. You know, it is wild. Destruction is wild. We wanted it also to encourage always creating gaming situation, and so creating aggressive situation was really important to us in the destruction game mode. So yeah, you seen it and understood it right.
Ooh, we might lose the center zone though. Theodore is under heavy pressure.
Theodore is on heavy pressure, as you said. I'm sending a lot of T-34. I think it's what it's needed.
I believe we got it. We got that push destroyed. Get the hell out of there, guys. No, SUD. Oh my goodness. That was a lot of it. Yeah, the Ham is doing a really good job over there. They will. Heckler, Ponix. They answered that question earlier. It is a known issue, and it will be looked at upon. I believe you were the person who asked that question earlier, because you were not around when they answered it. But yeah, it is a known issue, and it is an issue that they take seriously.
It is a lot of units. When it comes to destruction man, everything goes like in dimensions that are absolutely inconceivable when we think of WARNO.
It's really impressive.
Oh my gosh, what is happening? Oh my god, on the left side. I didn't even realize. A wooden box and Wu-Tang there. That's... Oh, wow. Yeah, that's...
That's barely unreadable. Honestly, what are your thoughts on the redesign we did on Geza, like at the end of last year, with you know, the adjustments on roads on the right side of the map?
I really enjoy it.
Okay.
It gave the map the amount of mobility that it needed. Like, it still is that focus on being a hilly and foresty map. And if you don't like CQC forest fights, you shouldn't play this map. There's enough other 10v10 maps like Crown for you out there. But it now has the mobility it needed, in my eyes. It is one of my favorite 10v10 maps. For sure.
Okay. Because as you probably seen, doesn't even exist in the English language. So yeah, as you've seen, it is something we are taking a look at currently with the new maps, rebalance and refactors. And so, if you like what we did on Geza and on Two Ways, for instance, you might like what we are going to do with some other maps that were showcased in the dev blog of today, in today's gameplay.
I will have to have a look on what maps you had on that list, actually. I remember some of them were, yeah, Chemicals, Iron Waters, Cyrus, Ripple. Okay, I can see. I guess
every maps are taking a huge refactor, like with roads and that kind of thing. But the ones that are needed, the most needed, are to be done, essentially.
Yeah. Like, for everyone who didn't see today's dev blog, these are the maps that are mentioned in the dev blog as receiving some smaller or bigger improvement necessary. Ooh, Phoenix does GG out already. Will he surrender there? But I mean, we're getting closer to dismantling them, I guess. Or never.
Okay, guys, time is running. I'm so sorry, because I have to go.
Oh,
so I wish you a good game.
Thanks for joining once more.
With
It
you.
was an absolute pleasure having you here, having you talk, and would love to have you back another time. It was really, really cool. Friday Night Mono, as always. And yeah, it's lovely to hear more of you Eugen folks in here and getting a bit more light.
Really nice to hear it.
Have a nice weekend, Matt. À bientôt.
Yes.
See you, Matt.
Bye, Theo. Bye, Protos. See you.
Yeah, that's something
Come on,
that
can we push these guys out on the right side? That Leo is nearly out
we are
already.
going to try to, but that Leo is a pain, I must say.
Oh yeah, you only have the small ATGMs. I thought you had the Conquerors there, but no, that's no Conquerors.
And my ATGM is like totally out of ammo, so not really useful in that situation. Unfortunately, I have an ammo car nearing it, but I don't know what it is doing. Like he's messing with the pathfinder. I don't think.
Let's get some P64s over here. A
This
bit too
is doing
spread out all
quite
over the
good.
map.
I absolutely do not feel like I did something, but I do feel that I am in the good team.
Damn push up there on the hill for sure did a good job. I know he loves his helicopters. And he did a good job there.
Yeah.
35th air
Then
assault.
is probably our best player internally. He was a huge player of Eugen games before joining Eugen, actually. So, of course, it helps a lot when it comes to. But don't worry, my T-34s are taking in Fedor, so it will be alright.
Where's the
Because
T-34s? Oh, there they go. I
89
found them.
units.
Yeah, I have one T-64 coming alongside them.
Like 20 of them? I don't even know. I won't try to count them. I love the KDA division just for those T-34s. It is so funny to me that a T-34, which is running to an MN Abrams and just shooting at it at a very close distance and killing it, this is really an awesome
it has the kind of feeling of killing a King Tiger with a sword. Or Uber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, Phoenix. Thanks for the raid. I hope you had a good time in the tournament. Even though you keep piling up the second places, but I feel like that you and Fantix had to get second place there. You also kind of refused to push on in the time where you could have pushed. Yeah, lots of coping was done by the cope masters. We have to be careful to not over push here right now, though. Getting a bit of, or we really need to finish it off, but it's not gonna be too easy. Whilst risking running into. I mean, no, we have more kills than the enemy. I was reading it wrong, but yeah. I have lost games like this where I was a bit too overconfident in destruction, and then the team just lost sight of keeping the KD up and just kept pushing and pushing, and then in the end we were just like, oh my god, we're actually losing this now. No, 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 no. We have to get the last point contested.
That's the subtlety of destruction mode.
There's side spawns on this map. I didn't even know.
Yeah! Yeah, that's why Anna and Center are all about CQC and spawning units and sending them right to either the death or a quite defensible position.
Oh, this is...
Yeah, I tried something here, and this is wild. I mean, side spawns of this side on Geyser is wild in my opinion, at least.
Oh, yeah, I now see what we're talking... Okay, that's cool.
That is brutal. I tried to be brutal with Geyser. Geyser is brutal by essence, but I tried to make it even more brutal. For instance, if you look at it, you also have only one spawn at the main spawn. You know, in some maps like Triple Strike, for instance, you have 3 or 4 spawns for each side. Here, no, you have only one spawn, which is one main reinforcement corridor, and you have to focus on, and you have of course to defend it, which is not that easy. That was simplicity is also an intention of destruction mode. When we talk about destruction mode, we are forbidden. This is a rule. In fact, we are forbidden to put more than one spawn per side. We will want to keep it like just one spawn arrow, and you have to manage it the best you can to deal with the enemy the most damage you can. This is something we really wanted to do with.
As you say that, I'm pretty sure Cyrus has 2 spawn zones, no? Am I imagining things?
Yes, but because Cyrus has 2 areas of spawn, you know? Yes, I must have said, when I said spawn, I meant the arrows, you know, the land arrows of reinforcement. If you have several areas of spawns, it is another thing. Internally, of course, when it comes to games, you can say it's quite the same thing. I can understand that. But when it is part internally, we do think about, even if this spawning area is large, we have to decide where where is going to be the reinforcement road, and so where is going to where is the most important part of this huge area. This is something really interesting with this game mode. And as you said, the one other interest of destruction game mode is that command zone like Fedor absolutely will never exist in Conquest game mode because they won't work. But here, because of the steamroll aspect of the destruction game mode, we might use design intention like this huge area that is Fedor, and that is something really non-seen in other part of the game.
Yeah.
I don't say it's good or great. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's non-seen in other part of the game.
Yeah, and that's a good. I believe a lot of people out there will thank you for that, because like I know that Destruction has its good fair share of fans, and they want it to be different than Conquest. So having a bit of different philosophies there makes it better. And then obviously there's quite a couple of players like me who I don't play Destruction much, but I enjoy my time when I come around to get into it. And yeah, it's just something different. Like, it just plays so different than normal games. And 10v10 Destruction and tactical 10v10s are currently my guilty pleasure. Like, a lot of the 1v1 community kind of looks down on them a bit, but I enjoy them a hell of a lot. Yes. I don't know, 10v10s just are such a wild thing in every Eugen game, and I'm still a bit sad that it never really clicked with me in Skill Division 2, as in Skill Division normally it was also a game what I played a lot. And I'm delighted to say that in WARNO I'm absolutely back on playing quite a bit of 10v10 again. And my casual friends also enjoying it a hell of a lot.
That's great to hear, honestly. As I said to you earlier, this kind of message is why I'm doing this job, so thank you for saying that. That really is heartwarming.
Your T-3485's actually still going, aren't they?
Yeah, my T-34 didn't even die. I don't know how it happened, but you know, T-34s, in fact, it's the best unit of both SD2 and WARNO. Nobody knows that, but I do know that. These are Stingers. I do love Stingers. That's because I hate planes, in fact.
And here we go. Beating down the last resistance here.
Yeah, last time. The Braves.
We're getting so much income now. It's 29 every 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This is another way of creating a more dynamic game mode. The incomes are quite high, in fact, but it is here again an intention, which leads to that kind of gap where when you dezoom, you just, wow, there's a lot of units, you know, a lot of things happening in a lot of major battlefields.
Nullied carrying.
So yeah, I've done absolutely nothing. 1,000 kills, 2,000 losses. I've been carried. Cool.
Yeah, Nullied and damned. And a wooden box carrying hard here. And Fantix and Phoenix not really doing so well there. Well, Fantix did decently. Had a really cool push there coming up in the middle, but it didn't quite work out. So yeah, GG. And yeah, another really cool Friday Night WARNO. That was an absolute blast talking with you two about the map design. Also, as always, a joy of playing with you as well. And I believe we got a good amount of new insight about what is going on over there. About level design in general. It was quite cool to see.
I do hope so. That was a great time honestly, that was great being there, and that was a great event. I'm really happy being here. It's always my pleasure joining you, Protos. Be sure of that.
So yeah, thanks Theo, and thanks everyone in the community for watching, for asking interesting questions. It was really cool to see all of you interacting, and I'm absolutely looking forward to the next one already. As always, I will try to run one of these monthly. I'm not quite sure who will join me next month yet. I'm currently in talks with Derek, if he might join us to share a bit more light on to the balance design and so on next time around. But yeah, maps are fantastic. We're all loving Twin Cities. I'm pretty sure there's few people in the community who are not happy about that map. And yeah, let's go on, guys, and let's rate someone else, as this is the end of this time. We will be back for you with it next month again. And once more, thanks, Theo, and have a nice day. Have a nice weekend.
No problem. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Let's see, who can we rate here? There's a lot of people online. Is there anyone playing WARNO right now? Not quite now. Okay, then we will rate Mr. Bocohen, who's playing some Hearts of Iron 4.